Hello and welcome to Race Day Nation. Good morning. I'm Rob D'Amico.
And I'm Michelle Rahal for this Sunday, April 10th, 2022.
Here in segment number one, we will get you on the grid for today's racing. It starts in Australia with the F1 Australian GP. It's already happened, so a little spoiler alert coming up for you. IndyCar at Long Beach will be on 3 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC, and race number 2 of the Porsche Carrera Cup on IMSA TV at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Those are both, again, at Long Beach. Plus, we'll get you this week's race report and discuss the top stories that Rahal is about to deliver.
Thanks, Rob. Here are today's top stories to us. Now, here's a spoiler alert. Charles Leclerc and the dominant Ferrari took victory in Australia, while Verstappen DNF'd again, did not finish. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Penske is not feeling threatened by Formula One's American expansion. Now, my cousin Graham Rahal, he thinks IndyCar should expand into other countries. I think we've tried that before. We'll talk about that a little later. Here's one that kind of has me a little bit disturbed. IndyCar racer Tatiana Calderon, the Colombian young lady, says Formula One rules are stacked against women. I don't think that it is, Rob, and I'll talk about that. Now, Ty Gibbs, he got knocked out of the way for the Martinsville win, and he lost $100,000 in the process. That didn't sit well with the grandson of Hall of Famer Joe Gibbs.
Well, hey, I will say this. We'll get into the fight that happened after that race because Ty Gibbs did jump out of the car, went over to Sam Mayer, and started swinging on him. We'll get into all that because, listen, I'll preference this, right? Fighting is never fair, and it doesn't settle anything, right? Okay, we'll get that PC stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
But what he did, a lot of people have heat with him now about. We'll get into all that coming up. And I'm a no Michelle, old school kind of guy, right? You got an opinion on this one, I guarantee you. All right, let's go back since the Cup race was late on Sunday. Let's go back and cover the Richmond race. Congratulations to Denny Hamlin for chasing down William Byron and holding off Kevin Harvick's late race charge. This is Denny Hamlin's 47th victory in 585 races. Kevin Harvick, who came in second, posted his third top 10 of 2022. William Byron third, which we'll be hearing more from him coming up here in a second. The top rookie was Harrison Burton, who finished 18th in that race at Richmond. But moving on past Richmond, I want to start covering what happened this weekend because we did have the Cup race. You had Xfinity yesterday, and then on Thursday, was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday night, the truck race, which was kind of cool. It was during the week, and the truck guys were out there tearing it up at Martinsville, which they put on a good show. Listen, it was
it's their kind of track.
Yeah,
I mean, it's their type of track for sure.
It was William Byron, again, another name here that you're going to hear in the next couple segments here. William Byron had the top spot there, so congratulations to him. It was his 8th victory in the 26 Camping World Truck Series races that he's been in, his first victory of 2022 in the Truck Series. But listen, he doesn't run that full schedule, so he's just in there when he needs a little help for the Cup race if they're there that same weekend. A lot of these guys do that. It helps them out with their racing for the next big event. Johnny Sauter was second. You had Kyle Busch, again, not a regular there. John Hunter Nemechek, Ben Rhodes, Chandler Smith, Matt Crafton, Grant Enfinger, Zane Smith, and Tyler Ankrum round out your top 10 there. So what does that do for the points? Well, Ben Rhodes is your point leader with 205. Chandler Smith is 4 points back. Zane Smith is 21 points. And you can see it goes all the way through there to Tyler Ankrum. Congratulations to all those guys, getting up there. You got some young guns up there battling it out. So some good stuff. But again, Ben Rhodes, congratulations, goes home with a grandfather's clock. But that's not his only one of the weekend. We'll get into that here in a second. The Xfinity race, Brandon Jones, congratulations to him. He goes home with the grandfather clock as well. And shows that he can get it done. And this is what's interesting to me, right? So this is the race where Brandon Jones comes in as the top guy. But how he got there, he had to bump his teammate, Ty Gibbs, out of the way, which then put him out about three lanes out, which at Martinsville, once you get out to that lane, it's no man's land, right?
Yeah.
So
There's
2
only
cars
one
come
way
underneath
around.
them. Yeah, get in the corner, and they bump him out even further, put him up in the wall, and he gets pissed off, and he finishes, I don't know, 7th. We'll get into hear that in a second. But then he gets out and goes and punches the kid. And this is where I have a hard time, okay? I mentioned it before.
Yeah.
Listen, let's be PC. Fighting's not the answer, okay? But
Well,
if
they
you
look
are in a fight,
stupid. Number one, with the helmets on, they look like little Martians from the old cartoons, and it doesn't do anything. It does absolutely nothing except draw the ire of NASCAR and fines. Now, does it add more viewers? Is it what NASCAR sort of grew up around? Get out and let's settle it like men. Well, yeah, but times they are a changing, and it just doesn't have much of a place anymore. I mean, in F1, if you do that, you're done. You're in a race suspension area, and it just doesn't prove anything. But I think as to what your point was, what everybody's teed off about is that he left his helmet on, the other guy took his helmet off, and he ends up black eyeing the guy without a helmet.
yeah,
Look,
that's my thing. If you're getting out of the car to go start something, take your helmet off, be a man, and go over
yeah,
there and start something, right?
yep.
Instead of going over, listen, fighting's not fair. You want all the advantage you can get. It keeping a helmet on protects you, and it gets you a little further down the road in the fight. Well, I get it, but in this situation, we all know in this world, if you say, "Hey, I'm going to go start a fight," be a man and go over there and do it. Otherwise, you're going to look like a big pussy out there to be
And that's
blunt.
what he did. I
Yeah,
mean, that's what everybody, the internet, is sort of blowing up on that. Man up, take your helmet off if you're going to do something like that. You see the IndyCar guys, maybe shove each other or something like that, but they're not stupid. You can get hurt and not make the next race.
yeah.
And the other side of that is it seems to be a rash of teammates taking each other out in NASCAR. If I'm not mistaken, the 2 Hendricks guys at, I don't know if it was Richmond.
It was California, and it was Kyle
There it was.
Larson and
Yeah.
Chase Elliott.
Yeah. I mean, if that becomes certainly, if I were team principal, I'd be Toto wolfing their ass. You do that again and you're sitting out a race, or I'm going to replace you. I'm going to put somebody else in the car for
Right.
at least a race, something to prevent that from happening. Because, I mean, that is the biggest in F1 or IndyCar. That is in racing in general. Never take out your teammate. That is, you always have to beat your teammate. That's the goal. That's the number one goal. But do not take each other out.
Yeah.
Red Bull has seen it. Every race team out there's seen it when you have 2 A personalities out there, and they're all A personalities. But it doesn't solve anything, and it ruins the ability for these teams when you take teammates out to actually develop sponsors, work on sponsors. It's just a bad look.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
it gives the sport, I think, a bad name. If you're trying to increase interest, okay, a fight now and again, it's kind of like baseball, clearing the dugout kind of thing. And if that were the case and you had a bunch of pit guys going at it, okay, there's a fine and what have you, but keep your helmet on. Don't be stupid.
Take it off.
Or take it off. Yeah. I mean,
take
if
it
you
off.
want
Man
black
up.
eyes, bloody nose, and you won't be able to see for the next race, go ahead. My advice, leave the helmet on, shove each other around a little, or let your pit crew fight it out.
Yeah, walk it away. All right. Let's get the rest of the results at Martinsville. It was Brandon Jones. Congratulations to him. Landon Castle, AJ Allmendinger, Austin Hill, Sam Mayer, Riley Herbst, Ryan Truex, Ty Gibbs. Oh, 8th. Sorry, I thought it was 7th. Ryan Sieg and Jeremy Clements Congratulations, those guys in the top 10. What do points look like in the Xfinity Series? AJ Allmendinger still on top. Ty Gibbs is right there as well at 20 points back. Noah Gragson, Brandon Jones, Josh Berry. We have Sam Mayer, Daniel Hemrick, Justin Allgaier, Ryan Sieg, and Austin Hill round out the top 10 there. Congratulations to everybody. Now, go ahead. Sorry.
Just an observation. The Herps guy, I think he needs to change that last name. Don't you?
Every time I hear it,
time
I'm
you
like,
say it,
poor guy.
It's like, come on, man. Mine was bad enough. Michelle, it was great when I was racing cars, but going to school and after racing, it's like in America, everybody gives you the stare, I mean, can you imagine this guy? Hey, I'm so-and-so Herps.
Yeah.
You can just see the chicks going, oh my God.
Yeah. And all his buddies at school, they're going, hey, Herps.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, man.
How's that lip?
Poor dude. All right, let's go to last night's race with the Cup Series guys. You know what? It was a good finish. I thought everything was pretty impressive. It did get off a little late of a start because of rain, but I think all said and done, Chase Elliott dominated the beginning of the race, but once he got out without the clean air, his car was just crap. I mean, he just went from hero to zero like that. It just shows you how sensitive the cars are and what they're trying to learn about these different things. But it's tough because these guys want to go out and dominate. And listen, Chase Elliott's the only one at Hendrick Motorsports right now that doesn't have a win. All his other teammates have wins, and now even one of his teammates has multiple wins. You have William Byron, who won the race last night. Joey Logano was second. Austin Dillon was third. Ryan Blaney was fourth. Ross Chastain, again, this guy is on fire.
Coming up, man. He's coming up.
Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Eric Almirola, Chase Briscoe, and Chase Elliott round out the top 10. He can only manage to get to the top 10, which he had a dominant car early in that race. Just unfortunately, get out in that dirty air and your car's gone. You have to make those adjustments through the night, and his teammates obviously did a better job.
Yeah. And I mean, Martinsville is one of those tracks that, you've got to be able to get it right. There's not a lot of room for error. It's a very narrow lane to actually race in.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to get down onto the apron to be able to make it stick, make certain things stick. And there's some bumping going on. Whenever you've got a narrow racing lane, you're always going to have
if the bottom is where the car needs to be, that's where you're going to put it. And if somebody's there, guess what happens?
Right.
Yeah. And it also, like a Talladega, even though this is a very short track here and it's shaped like a paperclip, this is very much like Talladega. You get bumped out and get in that second groove, you're moving back. You just have nowhere. If there's no room to get in that bottom lane, you're screwed.
Yeah, and Byron had from what I understand, had a bad start on the restart with a few laps to go, but he managed to get out front and he held on. Yeah. And I mean, when you got Harvick breathing down your neck, that's another kettle of fish.
Yeah. So it was Joey Logano who was behind him on that last restart. He was able to get in between him and Austin Dillon. And then I'll tell you, Joey gave him the business. I mean, he was hitting pretty hard. He was giving them the business, and William was able to hang on and make it work and stay out front. So he had a powerful car, and he was wheeling that car. So I give him props on that.
Yeah, I mean they're new names. We've got a changing of the guard everywhere.
Yeah,
in NASCAR, we're seeing it happen, and it may have a lot to do with this next gen car. In Formula One, exactly the same thing. You got a brand new formula. These cars are nothing like last year's cars. And it's all shaken up. You've got Ferrari at the top. You've got Alpine, whichever you want to call it.
Hey, well, hold on. It's Alpine because do you call it a pine tree?
I know. I've never figured that one out. Oh, yes, it's Alpine.
Yeah.
It's Alpine. Yeah. Dummies.
We're the dummies. We get a
Yeah,
listen.
I
That's how they
mean,
pronounce it, but that's okay. That's that's how it
yeah,
works.
they were speaking English first, so I mean, we got to give them a break
All right. Hey,
somewhere
let me
along the
finish
line.
the Cup race last night at Martinsville. We'll go over some points here. And it was Chase Elliott, who's still the points leader, 288. Ryan Blaney's back 3. William Byron moves up. He's 12 points back. Joey Logano. Ross Chastain, again, sitting there. Awesome for this kid. Alex Bowman, another Hendrick Motorsports car. Martin Truex Jr., and then Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, and Kyle Busch round out your top 10. So you still got some of the big players in there, but,
Well,
listen.
they're in there, but not like they used to be.
No, not at all.
And that in NASCAR, I mean, for whatever, I've never been that, round track guy, but
Mhm.
it is a specialized form of racing that is very competitive, very close, very difficult. And, you just ask Juan Pablo Montoya how difficult it is. And when you get a whole new formula that comes into play, a whole new car, that allows these young people, these young drivers to actually show what they can do, with something that the older drivers are not used to. And despite their experience, it's a different way of driving. And these young guys are coming up and they're catching it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
I
the way
like it, man.
racing goes. I do
Listen,
too. I do too.
this happens all the time in racing. You have a guy that or a team that goes out and they dominate. They seem to be the bet. No one's beating them each and
Yeah.
every week. And then you start having these guys start chipping away small little steps and they're working their way up. And all of a sudden now they're, hey, where did this guy come from? And he's
Exactly.
been there, but he hasn't been in the forefront. And now some of these guys, especially in NASCAR with the new car, there is a little bit of a level playing field. I'm not going to say it's leveled, but
No,
I do
no.
expect that to change though. Once they get a handle on this car, what's going to happen is the big teams with all the money will definitely move back up. And same thing with the Formula
F1.
One. Yeah.
Look at Hamilton and Russell. I mean, it's the same thing. All of a sudden they dominated the entire hybrid era. They changed the entire formula. They're still hybrid cars for the power plants, but all of a sudden you've got these guys struggling to get anywhere near, the top 5.
Yeah.
Just Hamilton was ending up 4th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He did a masterful job of being able to get that car, which is, for all intents and purposes, a pig. He was able to pull it up there. They
Hey,
threw some lipstick on it.
oh, he did. Because I will tell you one thing, and let's talk about this on the other side of the break. We'll get into recap the Australian GP. We're also going to talk about the Penske deal, talking about the F1 coming to the U.S. and the U.S. market. What does that mean? Does it threaten him in any way? What are some things that can be done? We're going to talk about that coming up in the next segment, so stick around. I'm Rob D'Amico. He's Michelle Rahal. This is Race Day Nation.
Place where fire and flavor are celebrated, where grilling traditions and new techniques are perfected. Here in Big Green Egg Country, you can grill it, roast it, smoke it, or bake it. It's the most versatile grill you'll ever own. Simple to light, easy to use, comes with a free lifetime warranty. Have it delivered to your door by a certified dealer in your community and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience. Shop online for home delivery at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com.
Welcome back to Race Day Nation. I'm Rob D'Amico. Our website is racedaynation.com. You can follow us at Race Day Nation on social media. You can follow me on social at Rob D'Amico, ROBDAMICO. And Michelle, where can they find you online as well?
They can find me on Facebook and just Michelle Rahal. Look that one up. There aren't a hell of a lot of us around. And then the other is at Michelle Rahal, MICHELERAHAL, and the number 9 on Instagram.
Got it. Okay. And don't forget, if there's something on this show you want to discuss, how you can comment and interact with us, you can go to our YouTube channel. It's at Race Day Nation, or on Facebook. And in the comments section, go ahead and make a comment there. Got a comment? You want to suggest something? Want to agree, disagree, whatever it is. Let's talk it out, man, because when we go live with the show, it'll be a lot of fun to have you guys on talking about the different things in racing that we've been doing for decades, covering these sports. And right now, we're in the NASCAR Cup Series, basically IndyCar, IMSA. We'll get into IMSA coming up in a little later because they were at Long Beach. A good sprint race there. And F1. Those are kind of our staples that we like to talk about in general. Even if we didn't do this show, Michelle and I would get on the phone and just, shoot the breeze about racing. It's just, it's part of our DNA at this point, right?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, that's what I grew up in, and you caught the bug a little bit later in life, but you caught it in a big way, and we've been rolling ever since.
Well, it's because you sneezed all over me. It was kind of disgusting. All right, let's go with F1. So you want to get us up to speed on what happened in the F1 race?
It was pretty much nobody had a chance against Ferrari and Leclerc. I'm actually predicting Charles Leclerc will take the world championship. I know it's early, but the Ferraris are so dominant right now. They're just so balanced. They've built not only an engineering wise a magnificent car, but aesthetically it's a beautiful car. I mean, it kind of goes back to, if it looks fast, it probably is. Well, theirs is. Sainz, unfortunately, at Australia, I think he got shaken up a little bit in qualifying because he got balked in qualifying. Somebody was in the way. And then, he ends up spinning on the, I think it was the first lap of the race, dropped down to 14th, but, he ends up beaching the car. So that was it. It was a DNF. Sainz is not doing that well. Leclerc is used to racing against Verstappen. Verstappen ended up another fuel-related problem where there was fuel actually leaking into the cockpit of the car.
Oh, man.
That's always a bad deal.
Yes.
So he had to get out of that car. That's 2 races he's DNF'd in 3. Can he catch up? It would take Leclerc, literally it would almost take Leclerc to DNF twice himself. And anything can happen. Of course, Verstappen could chip away at it, but nobody brought any tremendous upgrades to Australia. They usually wait for the European leg, which is coming up at Imola, I believe. And that's where you're going to see the biggest upgrades. And Red Bull is touting what great upgrades they've got. Mercedes is saying we didn't touch the car in Australia, so that we're waiting on the upgrades for Imola. And Toto Wolff sort of projected it was either projection or a Freudian slip, that they really aren't staring at the world championship this year. That's pretty much how that went. But Vettel, here's another one.
Oh, man.
Vettel racing with Aston Martin. And here's the backstory on that. Lawrence Stroll bought that team out in order for his son to have a race car ride in a Formula One car. Well, he ended up basically micromanaging that team so badly. The team principal left and went to Alpine, and he's now it's a typical case of a billionaire who thinks they can do everything. Well, this is Formula One. This isn't business. It's different. On one level, yeah, it's business. On the other level, listen, if you've never run a racing team, you don't know what the hell you're doing. I don't care how rich you are. And that around the paddock right now is the big talk, is that Lawrence Stroll's the problem. Do I expect Vettel to stay with the Aston Martin team through the year? I'm doubting it. I'm beginning to doubt whether he stays there or not, because I don't think he can operate under that type of management.
Yeah, it's bizarre to watch. Vettel has the talent, right? We know that.
Oh, yeah, he does.
He's in a car right now that has no talent whatsoever, and it's really rough to watch this poor guy. And I'm going to switch. I remember before the break, I mentioned the Hamilton, I felt bad for him. If you watched his in-car camera, right, the porpoising on that car
Yeah.
was brutal. This poor guy has got to get out of that car with a wicked headache. It was that, I mean, his head, that you can watch the helmet do this
Yeah,
in the car.
you lose your vision.
Oh my
I mean, with
gosh.
that kind of bouncing, you lose your vision, and it's going to take these guys apparently a while to figure this problem out. I don't know what they're going to do about it. You know, once Mercedes does that, I think they'll be very competitive again, albeit too late.
Yeah.
But it's really going to be difficult right now. Ferrari has upgrades. They planned this out very well. Binotto knew what he was doing when they set this new car as a priority for having so many years now of not being at the front and not being a real competitor. I think Ferrari's taking it this year. I think they're going to take constructors, and I think Leclerc will be world champion.
Yeah, I think you're totally right on that. I think that's a great observation. Ferrari has figured out something, and listen, Ferrari's the big team in F1, and they should be on top. They should have the money. They should be doing all these things, and they really haven't been over the last few years, which is kind of hurt the sport. But now that they're back in it, I think it's good for NASCAR. I think it's good for IndyCar. I think it's good for the U.S. market. I think it raises, we talked about this, these last couple of weeks, how, the rising ships, raise all, or rising
Rising
tides,
tide raises all boats.
Yeah.
Leave the quotes to me.
Yeah, I'll leave those to you, please. My quotes would be like, well, no, maybe it was this. But seriously, it's great for all sports. And we joke that how does a team like Ferrari do all that? But it's because their brand name, the following around the world, right? It interests people. It brings people in. It's just been one of those things. And
the truth is, it's F1 is almost nothing without Ferrari. I mean, Ferrari is the only one that has a veto vote on many of these rules. Ferrari, and it amazes me, when Ferrari. What I think we're staring at right now is the potential of a Schumacher era, another Schumacher era. We went through 7 years with Hamilton and Mercedes. I think that might have switched. It may very well have switched. I'm hoping that Mercedes and Red Bull can get their acts together and that we have a three-way battle, at least in the races. But I think Leclerc and Ferrari are going to come out on top, and it's not going to hurt Formula One. It's going to help it. And
agreed.
Yeah, you're right. A rising tide does raise all boats.
Oh, is that the quote?
That's the quote. A rising tide raises all boats.
I had something about bathtub and a dinghy. I don't know what it was. It was close
and
to
the little rubber duck crap and all that. Yeah.
I was a little off. All right. So let me go through the F1 results here for the race. You had you mentioned Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, George Russell. Mercedes finally got on the podium there. Lewis Hamilton was behind him. Lando Norris, Daniel Ricciardo, Esteban Ocon, Valtteri Bottas, Pierre Gasly, and Alexander Albon with the Williams, which I find, Williams hasn't been that strong this year. But it is nice to see you have the Alpine, you have the Alfa Romeo, the Alfa Tauri. I always say that wrong because I'll give you a little backstory on that. A buddy of mine had a car. It was the Ford Taurus. Yeah. And we literally took the letters off of it and rearranged all of them, and it was called a Ferrari. So I got great pictures of it. It's a Ford Taurus, but it says Ferrari at the back. So every time I say Alfa Tauri, I say Alfa Ferrari. But I know it's wrong.
It's okay. It's okay.
So points look like this. Charles Leclerc on top, and I think you're right. Look at the points right now as we speak. It is going to be tough for some of these guys to make up those big points, but something would have to happen to Charles Leclerc at this point. George Russell second, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton. Here's where this just mystifies me. Max Verstappen sitting there in sixth. after 2 DNFs already on the season. Just unreal. Esteban Ocon, Lando Norris, Kevin Magnussen, which I think is a great story there, and Valtteri Bottas rounding out your top 10 in F1 points. So congratulations to those guys. But it's listen, it's tough. I thought Verstappen was going to come out and dominate, but Ferrari had shown their cards and say, listen, it's time for us to be back on top. We can battle it out, but it has fallen apart on the Red Bull side.
Yeah. Leclerc and Verstappen have been racing each other since they were kids.
Yeah.
So they know each other. But there was actually an incident where Hamilton and Verstappen got really close again to, at Australia. It just seems like those two guys don't enjoy racing each other. It's one of those things where I just don't think they like each other. That might be it. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, exactly like us. We put up with each other, but when the show's over with, we hate each other, and that's okay. I mean, it's
hey,
okay.
I want to tell you, I don't want to even spread that rumor because it's not true.
No.
We have the best chemistry when it comes to talking on air and doing all this stuff. It's one of those things that work. Listen, there was a time when I was doing the show by myself. I didn't feel it was the same connection that I had with the race fans and all the different things were going on. With Michelle, I've had other hosts. We've done other things, and it's never been the same. But when we come together and do it, it always seems like it's right and it works.
That's all that counts, man.
Yeah, as long as we're not in the same studio.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed being in the same studio.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah,
I mean, you're able to really look at each other and really just go at it and have fun. But nonetheless, this is the new deal, and I embrace it. I think everybody else in the world has as well. So it's just a different format. But we just want to be informative, try to deliver some humor, because I mean, everybody takes life too seriously, and right now, the way the world is, everybody needs a little bit of humor just to keep going.
Yeah. I agree,
Pandemics, wars, everything.
And I think that's where, when we talk about sports and, a lot of people, with the Chris Rock and the deal with the slapping on the Oscars, right?
Yeah.
Nobody watches the Oscars. The big joke there was that the president of Ukraine was supposed to be on the Oscars and decided to go on the Grammys because nobody watches the Oscars because it's become a political mess. And that's what, when we get with sports, we get so pissed off when somebody brings up politics or starts touting their views or whatever. I'm not there. Nobody's there to watch that crap. We're there to watch.
ESPN, unfortunately, is the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, they're the worst.
Well, it's good luck. Good thing we're not trying to get on their network right now.
No kidding. I thought about that as I was saying it.
Well, if we were, it's tough. You're going to have to deal with YouTube still.
It's a dead issue now.
But seriously, I don't tune in to when I watch football, hockey, racing. I don't care what it is, curling. I'm not there for anybody's political view. You can stick that right up where the sun doesn't shine.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
It just, and that sort of brings me to the Tatiana Calderon deal in IndyCar. She's a Colombian lady, and she's, done well in the lower formulas. I think she's won a W race, which is all women.
I believe so, correct.
And she's podiumed, I think, twice in the lower formulas. Well, that's not enough. Listen, Piastra dominated F2, and you have to dominate. You expect an F1 ride, or you expect a real IndyCar ride. I mean, here she is. I think she's qualified last.
That's
Jimmy
correct.
Johnson actually out-qualified her, if that tells you anything.
And
he had a broken wrist.
Yeah. We'll get into that here in a minute.
Yeah.
But hey, let me ask you this. What are the clarifications of getting that super license or whatever it is so they can get that ride and work their way up? So
I believe you have to have 40 points. And you get those points, I believe, by either a championship in another series that's comparable, like IndyCar. or you win X number of races. It's designed. The rules are the same. In no way, shape, or form does it, call out women can't drive or women can't do this in Formula One. No, I mean in IndyCar, not at all. I mean, it's the same for everyone. Ask Colton Herta. I mean, right now he's fighting tooth and nail to get the attention of F1 to either change those rules for the super license or accept, what he's done. He's sitting on the pole at Long Beach. He dominated. I mean, he tore that track up, set a new track record. He really is looking to try to get through, and it's that super license that's stopping him. So tell me where Tatiana Calderon and women are being discriminated against in any way with that set of rules. It's the same for everybody.
Yeah, it could have been misinterpreted or misrepresented on her end with saying women when the rule, whether it's a man or a woman, I think maybe the point got lost there or something through the media. Or did she actually say
you just
women?
Hit on a point. You just hit on a point. And that point is, I'm so tired of looking at these stories that I see or these reports that come through, and the lead, which is, for those that don't know, is the title of the article. More often than not, just to get people to click on it, it's BS.
Yeah, that's called
the
clickbait.
lead has nothing to do with the damn article.
Yeah.
So my point is that whole article, that whole statement, everything that was said has nothing to do with women. The rules are the same for everybody.
Yeah. It just changed the rules so everybody can get in under those same rules and not have this difficulty of, these top guys, which I get. Listen, they call it a super license for a reason, right? You're supposed to be dominant. You're supposed to be doing these things.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is difficult. And don't get me wrong. Listen, women coming up in racing, it's tougher, right? We always joke about this. Lynn St. James is a good friend of ours. And she says, listen, the car doesn't know anything different. The problem is sponsors do, right? Teams do, and they're not giving some of these people, because listen, there are probably, when you look at any racer on track right now, you can say there are 5 guys behind this guy. There are 10 guys behind this. There's a few women that are over here that can kick ass, but they'll never get the opportunity because they don't have the money. They can't bring the money to the table. They don't have connections to that money. And that hurts the whole process. But listen, it's the same game.
I do think they have connections to the money for the simple fact that they are female. The big thing is you need to win in the lower formulas. If you expect to get up and run with the big dogs, you better be a big fish in a small pond, like F3 or F2 or Formula Renault or Indy Lights, or you need to dominate those. Most of the drivers, and I think we're beginning to winnow out in Formula One the pay drivers. It's rife in IndyCar, pay drivers. I mean, it's been there forever, but they use vanity sponsorships. Uncle Fred has this, this business, this big business, and they throw that name on the car, and nobody knows that it's her uncle or his uncle. So I think that winning in those lower formulas, which women are capable of doing,
oh, absolutely,
they just need to. It's like anything else. For all the women that are trying, there are 1,000 men trying too.
Yeah, and
the rules are the same for everybody. And as far as raising money, that's what's new. Welcome to the club. Yeah, I went through it.
I think my point is the car doesn't know the difference. You could
could put
a male or female in her. What does know the difference are the people running the teams, the people with the sponsorships, the people. I think that's where part of the problem is, right?
Right, but if those teams see that this person is winning.
I get it.
And look at Lewis Hamilton. I mean, Hamilton was 14 when he got signed by Ron Dennis at McLaren. Why? Because he was so fast and dominant in go-karts and karts. His father stuffed that cart in the back of a trunk to get him to the races.
Yeah.
So he was able to showcase his talent. Father mortgaged his house, the whole 9 yards. Well, the same thing has to apply to female drivers. The car does not know who is operating it. When you get into one of those cars, you're putting on a suit. And it's as simple as that. It's like Transformers. It becomes an extension of your body and your mind. And it doesn't matter whether you're male or female or any of the other 50 genders we now have. That's a whole nother story. We don't want to go too far with that one.
We just talked about not bringing in. But I will say you're right, but then again, the car has no idea. If you're fast in the car, you're fast in the car, right?
Yeah.
And that should get you there. My point is that not everybody gets the opportunity because the money isn't there. That's my only thing. Is that
I didn't.
There's people
for me to take the next step, and I was offered it, was $2 million.
Yeah.
And that was in 1987. Think about how much money that actually is now.
And you didn't have an Uncle Fred. Nor do I.
No. I mean, all's fair in love, war, and racing. And I mean, I've got relatives that, had the money to do it, had the money to get them there. I mean, you can only do so much, but the fathers and the mothers and fathers of the families that get them there. I mean, if you look at Sean Rahal, Charles, his dad, a hell of a racer himself. He did everything he could to get Sean up to a certain point, but there's only so much money.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a billionaire, that's another story. I mean, look at Lance Stroll. Let him stroll right on off the track. That's what he's been doing lately.
All right. We're going to take a break.
It's all about money. You got to have the talent and you've got to have the money. Wheelbarrows full of money.
Yes, you do. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get you on the grid for today's racing at Long Beach, talk about the IndyCar series a little bit. And I also want to go in depth a little bit more about the fight that we saw between Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer in the Xfinity series. And we'll discuss that. It's all coming up next right here on Race Day Nation.
Place where fire and flavor are celebrated, where grilling traditions and new techniques are perfected. Here in Big Green Egg Country, you can grill it, roast it, smoke it, or bake it. It's the most versatile grill you'll ever own. Simple to light, easy to use, comes with a free lifetime warranty. Have it delivered to your door by a certified dealer in your community and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience. Shop online for home delivery at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com.
Welcome back to Race Day Nation. I'm Rob D'Amico alongside Michelle Rahal, my co-host here on the show. You can find us on our website, racedaynation.com, where you're going to see the YouTube channel and also our podcasts where you can get the audio or the video version of this show. And, you can watch it in any form or listen to it in any form that you like. We appreciate everybody who has, listened to the show, watched the show. Please pass it along. If they're a race fan, that you think would really enjoy the show, please send it to them. Because listen, we're not on terrestrial radio like we were, and we're able to promote the show and build an audience. This is grassroots, ground up kind of stuff for us right now. Yeah. And unfortunately, in the day and age now, it's so difficult to do because a lot of the social media things, if anybody's in the world of marketing, it's a pay to play here. And that's difficult for us because we don't have the sponsors. We don't have the money. I don't have an Uncle Fred.
No, me neither. They all died.
And left you nothing. Sons of bitches.
Nothing.
But anyways, it's ground roots, man, and grassroots. And that's what we're trying to do is, build this show back up, build our audience and get it out there. And, it's going to take time, but we appreciate it. If you're watching and you're this far into the show, you're interested. And we really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. You follow. You go
I
ahead.
just want to bring this up. My mother, whom I had taken care of for about 4 years, she passed away last Wednesday. And I just wanted to mention that. Anita Kicklighter Thompson. And just an absolutely wonderful woman. And I'd said it before, but taking care of her, I think, was probably the most profound thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And I just want to salute her because I know she's watching right now.
Yeah. Well, that's very nice.
Don't
And,
slap me, Mom.
yeah. She knew how to keep you in line, I take it, huh?
Listen, I was the black. I'm still the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And
But
I'm
listen,
enjoying my blackness.
you were there when she needed you the most, right? I mean,
That's right.
It's
That's
part
what
of it.
counts.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that you can go into these rehabs, assisted living places, and see nobody cares about these people anymore. It's not only a travesty, it's disgusting that the kids nowadays don't seem to give, they just want to put the parent away. And, oh, if I don't see this, I'll talk to him once a week. Well, I wasn't going to let that happen. So I did it myself.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Well, sorry for your loss, and our thoughts
that.
are with you guys and your family, and I know it was a tough few weeks, a couple of weeks ago for you, and
yeah, it was.
Yeah,
but you got to man up and go do what you got to do. Simple as that.
That's right. Hey, and speaking of man up, not to get off a subject here, but you're trying to transition from something that's very sad to fighting. It's a tough transition, right? But I will say this. You have to man up. If you're going to fight in any form of racing, right? Or anywhere, fighting's not fair. Fighting doesn't answer anything. Fighting, it's bad. Okay. PSA, don't do it, stay out. But in situations like this, where you're going to get out of a car, you're going to go confront somebody, you're going to say something, be a man, take off the helmet. Don't go to the guy that you're wearing your helmet and you walk over to a guy doesn't have a helmet on. You can see clearly he's taking it off, and you don't take yours off, and you clock the kid in the face. Come on, man. Man up. That's like cheating. That's like, are you serious? I would have done my best to try and grab his face mask and just rip him to the ground and just that irritates the hell out of me. And I like Ty Gibbs. Yeah.
Obviously. I'm gonna start researching anger management for you.
What's those white jackets?
It's like watching UFC. I get so tense. I'm like sitting on the edge of my seat watching these guys.
Yeah.
Fighting solves nothing. I mean,
I will say this.
Sometimes it does. I mean,
Ty Gibbs comes from the Joe Gibbs, line of, family. It's Coy Gibbs' son, and Joe's his grandfather, and they're this. I don't want to say they're the holier than thou family, but they are very religious. They're very open about that. And here's this kid comes over and does something so unfair and so intentional that I was like, come on, man. You can't
entitled.
Yeah, a little bit. It almost comes off like that because, listen.
I can guarantee you his grandfather gave him an earful.
Oh, I hope so.
I've met him a couple of times, and he doesn't put up with that. He's a tough customer. He doesn't put up with that. I don't think you're going to see that one happen again. And if it does, let him do it outside in the parking lot.
Yeah, I had this discussion.
Take the helmets off, take the race suits off, and let's go at it.
A couple of guys last night. We were out having a couple drinks and cigar, and we got to talking. And one of them was that the old school way of this is nobody knew about it. This was
they did
after the cameras were gone. Everybody went home. Hey, buddy, let's go walk out here behind the trailer and let's settle this like men. Not that was right, but that's how it was done. It wasn't known. It was just done behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Do
that in IndyCar or F1 and you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Do it in F1 and you got a race suspension, if not 2.
Well, because
they've gotten very, very strict with the new race directors that they've got, even on jewelry. you're never supposed to wear jewelry in a race, in an auto race. I mean, there's several things. Burns, the metal sticks to you.
Yeah.
It gets in the way. It's just it's part of the safety. So they even, I mean, they're going. These guys, these two new guys, are really going down to the wire on, following the rules to the T. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, maybe that's just a good wake up call for everybody to, finally get the message.
It's not a bad thing if the rules are very black and white. It's a bad thing when you have NASCAR's written in pencil rules sometimes that you go,
always has been.
Right. You go, well, hold on a minute. If the way it's written here, I can do pretty much whatever. Now, if it's written, no chains, no this, no that, no, and they're very specific, it's a different story, right? If they're going to stick to that, then that's what they should stick to. But
it's the same as what happened to Jordan Taylor in the Corvette at Long Beach. He loses a wheel nut and it flies off and puts a hole through the radiator of another car, and he's fined for it, and I guess it rightly should be. I got fined for having a camera. They mounted a camera on my car. This was back in the day before they had the, nice cameras. This was a real camera, mounted on the roll bar. And it flew off at 140 miles an hour and bounced down the track. Well, we got fined for it. I didn't put the damn camera on there. I had no idea. But that ended up in an ESPN ad, which I thought was pretty cool. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean,
are you trying to get back in with ESPN after your last comment?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to make good.
Well, I was just kidding you.
It was a joke. All right. Hey, speaking of IMSA, obviously out at Long Beach, the sprint race. So it was just the DPIs and the GTDs, Pro and AM. But we had the guys on the podium. Cadillac ran the tables there, 1 through 3. You had Cadillac Racing, Van de Zander. Congratulations to him, Sebastian Bourdais. You had both Cadillac racing teams, and then the JDC Miller Cadillac team with Westbrook over there. Congratulations to those guys. Put on a good show. I mean, it was, it's a good sprint race.
I mean, my God, Sebastian Bourdais went from first to last into first again.
Yeah. I like Sebastian Bourdais. I know he comes off sometimes as an arrogant prick because he gets in his zone, and he's that, Americans think of French people, right? You know how that always, the stereotype stuff. Yeah. But he's a good dude, man. I really do I remember watching him in the Champ Car stuff. And dude, the guy's a great race car driver.
He really is.
He's underrated.
I think he still lives over in St. Pete. I think he's still got a place over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. He's a cool guy. I mean, I've never had a problem with him. He's always been, nice to me. And he's just a hard racer, and the French, yeah, we make fun of them. They make fun of us. So it's fair. It works out. Eye for an eye, insult for insult.
That's right. I can handle that, right? If you can't dish them out and you can't take them, then you shouldn't be doing them.
Well, the French have stuck with us. I mean, during the Revolutionary War, they were with us all the way. And, maybe it's because mine enemy is thine enemy. They really wanted to take England down. But that's, kind of never gone away. There's always been this rivalry with the British and the French.
Yeah.
And but the French have produced some awfully, incredibly talented race car drivers. And Alain Prost comes to mind, the professor.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that everybody understands that this wasn't a political message that we say we don't do. That was just a little brief history lesson from Ray Hall back when he was a young kid.
That's right. You bastard.
All right, let's go to GT Pro, and we saw that the heart of racing, Aston Martin, unlike in F1, was able to get to the top of the podium here. You also had the Lexus and then the Corvette of you mentioned it earlier with Jordan Taylor and Antonio Garcia rounding out the podium there. So congratulations to those guys for a great race. I thought it went very well. And then you had the GTD AM, which is the amateurs. You had Paul Miller Racing in the BMW You had the Acura NSX, and then you had a Lexus RC with Frankie Monteclavo right there in the third position. I've actually raced him.
Did you?
Yeah. So when I was doing in the Mustang Challenge stuff, we were out at Miller Motorsports Park, and actually it was, my very limited and small racing career. That was one of the things I got as a highlight. I actually beat him back then. I probably couldn't do it now because he's made a career out of it, but it was cool to see that I was able to do something and see a guy, that there is a chance for you to be at a certain level and work your way up, right? And perform better and get better at your craft. So it was kind of neat for me that I raced against a guy like that. And
it was the same with me. I mean, I beat Scotty Brayton, and I can't remember the Canadian's name. It's just one of those senior moments, And but I think he won the Indy 500. Scott Goodyear.
Got it.
It was my third race. I beat them both, and didn't make any difference. You get to a certain point, that's when the dollars come in. That's when, and I understand it completely. And my father, I'll never forget my father saying, "Find an older woman, marry her, get the money, go racing." And I'm like, I can't do it. I just can't do it.
You were looking for a sugar mama?
It just wasn't working for me. It would not have worked for me.
You got the sour grapes, mama.
For anybody to come up with $2 million back then in 86, 87, that's just not going to happen. It was an honor to be offered it. To be offered it, it was an honor. But the same thing. You went through the same thing, slightly different level, but not much.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Let's get us on the grid for today's racing in IndyCar. They're out at Long Beach, and Long Beach is so beautiful. The track is so nice. You just see the atmosphere there and the crowds that are there. The landscape itself, being by the water. It's just really nice. And I do want to say one thing. I didn't realize how beautiful actually Melbourne, the city, is. When you look around that track, that Alberta Park, and see all the stuff that's around there and the cityscape in the background and even the hotels and the housing around the area, it is beautiful. I'm sure there are crappy areas just like any city, right? But man, it is really a beautiful city. I didn't realize how beautiful it was.
Well, the Australians don't have a hell of a lot else to do because, 90% of their entire population lives along the coastline. Yeah. So their cities, if you look at Melbourne, you look at Sydney, they're all beautiful cities, and look at Colombia. You have Medellin, which is a drop dead beautiful city. It's kind of like with the U.S., it's a little more difficult with 340 million, 350 million, 360. Who the hell knows how many people we actually have? That's a whole nother story for another show.
Exactly.
And, we're not quite able to pull that one off. We have a whole different dynamic when it comes to, building our infrastructure and building our cities. Yeah. And actually being able to put on a race. But yeah, Melbourne's a beautiful place. It really is.
Well, we're out at Long Beach, another great place. And on the pole with the IndyCar guys, you have Colton Herta. Congratulations to him. Like we were mentioning earlier, trying to make some noise here. Joseph Newgarden second, Alex Palou. Those are two guys right there, the Colton Herta and Alex Palou, that I can see doing some stuff and moving into different series at a higher level. And here's the thing. Let me finish this real quick before I get to that thought. Phyllis Rosenquist is fourth. Alexander Rossi, fifth. Romain Grosjean is sixth. Will Power, Marcus Ericsson, Scott McLaughlin, and Simon Pagenaud round out your top 10 for today's race at Long Beach. But some of these guys, when I make mention, could have the opportunity, and obviously Colton Herta with F1, and Andretti still hasn't to this day heard anything back from F1 on the application and where that stands, which is a little bizarre to me. I thought there would be a little more, communication on their part. But what I'm getting at is when you say like Colton has an opportunity, it's moving up. F1 is considered a move up from IndyCar, even though IndyCar has its place, right?
Absolutely.
The competition level and the money being spent there is another level. So that's why I do, because some people say, oh, no, they're, I think some of the guys in racing think, oh, well, IndyCar, we're better racers because we do this and we're on ovals and we do all sorts of different kinds of things. And F1 is just the streets and the road course stuff. But I don't know, man. At $500 million budget, right? You got to think
it was. It's been chopped down to 140 million.
Right.
That it's been chopped down. Now, there are a lot of problems with that. Like, what about crash damage in practice? The only thing that doesn't count towards the 140 million is what they pay the driver and what they pay the team principal. So you're looking at, for Verstappen, $50 million a year just in base salary. Hamilton, $50 million a year in base.
Not shabby.
No, I mean, I'd take a gig like that.
Yeah, I would consider it.
You'd do it for $500. Right about now, so would I.
The guy would start off at 5, and I'd go, "Oh yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it."
Yeah. Stop feeling, man. I'll take it. Yeah. We're going to make this big. This is going to be really big.
Yeah. But I do expect
big.
I do expect a good race out there with IndyCar on that. They always put on a good show out at Long Beach. It's still a bumpy track. I will say that it will create a little and it's pretty tight with the walls and all that stuff. You saw that even in IMSA, some of these guys just running wide and smashing into tire barriers and running up against the walls and pancaking the car.
The broken wrist thing.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing about Long Beach were the restaurants. I mean, Mom's was an incredible restaurant, and there was another one, Pacific something. I had never had white salmon before. It's really strange, but this particular place had white salmon. They only get it like 3 times a year or something like that, or for a couple of months.
That's because it was a cod.
Yeah, it probably was.
Oh, hello, we'll have the white salmon.
Yeah.
The guy's like, "Hey, you got cod."
Yeah, or halibut.
Halibut, yeah, that's the other one.
Put a halibut. Let's do it.
No, I've never heard of white salmon either, to be honest with you.
That's what it was.
I'll have to look it up.
I mean, maybe it was like Chilean sea bass, which is really the ugliest, meanest looking fish you could ever see.
Yes.
It's not really a bass. It's a tooth fish. I mean, this thing looks like
Dracula. Oh, they're hideous.
Acid.
Yeah, they're hideous.
Yeah.
That's like in the sushi world. You'll have the crab. It's like that imitation crab stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let me just take off the paper here. All right, man. I think we're done here. I think that gets us up to speed, no pun intended, with everything going on in the world of racing. Michelle, what do you got going on for this week coming up? Anything special?
Nothing special. Just keep going, keep trucking, trying to just put out good work with whatever I do. And, making arrangements for my mother's internment. And then that type of thing. And, beyond that, just do the right thing. Just try to keep doing the right thing, because the right thing to do is always the right thing to do. And people if people would realize that, I think the world would be a hell of a lot better off. Yeah,
no doubt. I got coming up this week. I don't think I got much of anything coming up this week. I'm trying to think.
Oh boy, we're living a white-knuckled existence here.
Yeah. The excitement, I can't take it anymore.
It's too much.
It's too much longer. But I did.
And at my age, it's like, oh, Elizabeth, I'm coming home.
Ooh, I gotta settle down. But seriously, I cooked some brisket over this week, which was really nice.
On the green egg, no doubt.
On the green egg, of course. Not any kind of sponsored plug here, is it?
Exactly.
But no, you know, and if you don't know, I do work for the Big Green Egg, so I do some of their videos, and you can check those out on biggreenegg.com. But that's always a lot of fun for me. I do love cooking.
It's the best. I'm telling you, it's the best there is. It's just, there's no comparison. A steak done on a Big Green Egg is like you're going to Morton's or Ruth Chris, and, you know, done at such a high temperature. You can control the thing. Yeah, and the CEO was my racing manager. I mean, I don't really want to call him a manager, you know, but he guided me through it, and he would help get the sponsorships. And you know, we both know him, and he's our pal. And so, Big Green Egg, go buy the damn thing, people, because you won't get a better cooking experience. You really won't.
And I can tell you that's not a paid endorsement.
No, damn sure isn't.
All right, we're gonna wrap up the show. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us, and again, sorry for your loss.
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you very much.
Thoughts are with your family. I know it's been a tough time, and you know, listen,
there's a sense of relief if you want to be. If I'm being perfectly honest, the last thing that you want to see. I think part of the problem with life is we live too long now. The technology has outrun our ability to live you know, up into our 90s and have quality of life.
Right.
Because when you don't have quality of life, it just isn't. It's not worth being there.
That's what I was about to say.
Terrible for people like that, and I see it all the time. All the time.
I know you wish your mom was here, but she is in a better place, and you know the suffering and the pain. Yeah.
Relieved for her. It's those of us that are left when our loved ones pass away. We're the ones that deal with, you know, the suffering, the grief. But life has to go on. You know, billions of people died before us. We're just going to keep the wheel rolling. I mean, 15 years, 20 years from now, I'm in the same boat that she was.
I feel like this is a very circle of life. What was that movie with the lion?
I don't know. I hated that stupid movie.
I feel like
I don't like animated films.
We're in the circle of life thing going on. I'm waiting to hear. Oh,
yeah, no, it just you know rolls around. I mean, it just does.
All right, man. Thank you very much. You can find Michelle Rahal at Michelle Rahal #9 on social media. Me at Rob D'Amico, ROBDAMICO. Our show at Race Day Nation. Please log on to our website. We have a newsletter you can sign up for. We'll get you on the grid for all the racing that goes on and give you all the information when our show is on, where you can find it on YouTube, on Spreaker. You'll find it on shortly. You'll find it on iHeart Radio, the app, and all that stuff. So working on some things. And again, thank you. If you got this far in the show, listen, we appreciate you watching, and hope you enjoy each and every week that we do this, because that's why we do this. It's fun for us. I hope it's fun for you. All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks again, Michelle Rahal. I'm Rob D'Amico. This has been Race Day Nation.